Well, welcome to Radio Entrepreneurs and our Conscious Business Show. I'm here with Peter Meyerson from Cohen Resnick Meyerson. Thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure, and this is going to be a very interesting show.
We're joined actually today with two individuals. Actually, George Dudley from the BSAS. He's Director of Marketing and Communications, and we'll be hearing from him on their literacy program, as well as Will Krause. Will is actually a dual role. He's a Vice President and Portfolio Manager at Moody, Lynn, and Liberson, but he's also part of the task force and a task member of the literacy program here. That's an initiative being launched by the Boston Security Society. And so in discussions, Will, there's a lot about conscious leadership. I mean, certainly working with the community and understanding how we make a difference. And the financial literacy program really is an educational tool, not only that looks at, personal finances, but basics of investing, retirement issues, which is obviously on the forefront of many individuals, looking at bonds versus equities, understanding risk. And it looks like the program, you delve into different demographics, whether it's students, whether it's graduates, and you work with different academic institutions. So tell us a little bit about the financial literacy program here at the BSAS.
Great, thank you. First of all, thank you for having us on here. My name is Will Krause, and I'm one of the co-chairs along with Alice Avanian of the Boston Security Analyst Society, or BSAS as we informally call it, Financial Literacy Initiative. And I'm joined here by George Dudley, who's the staff member who's been integral to our success and really supports us at every turn in the logistics of making that work. So we appreciate being here and having the chance to talk about what we're up to, because we believe it's really at the forefront of what's going on in this space. I think the very interesting thing to me about what's going on right now is that if you think about where financial literacy is in its sort of gestation, really some of the great work that's being done to pioneer the measurement side of it, saying, hey, what is this problem, is being done by Anna Maria Lusardi at GFLEC, which is the George Washington Financial Literacy Education Center, or Excellence Center, I'm sorry. And what they've identified is that there's up and down the demographic and income spectrum, and across the demographic spectrum, there's a huge financial literacy knowledge gap. And it's really, you don't have to go too far back in our economic history to point to where that had very, very large macroeconomic ramifications, and that's in the mortgage crisis and people not understanding what they're doing from a mortgage perspective. And so we, Alice Avanian about 3 years ago, undertook an initiative as board chair. She made this her flagship initiative to start a financial literacy initiative at our organization. And since then, we've got around 40 volunteers and around 8 or 9 partners, depending on when you're counting. And we're really doing community outreach through a lot of local organizations to start to attack this problem, and we believe that we can tackle it locally and make a difference. So that's sort of how we're thinking about things. Is that if you can't manage what you can't measure, and it's being measured that this is a problem, and so we need to do our part to figure out how to translate our members' financial knowledge into impactful financial results for members of our community.
This is Peter Meyerson. I'm kind of co-hosting this today. And I find this a fascinating subject. I mean, because I'm a lawyer and I, represent small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and I've done public offerings. And I would say, even within the population of the people I represent, there's a real knowledge gap. I mean, people really do not understand a lot of what financial information means, and part of it's trying to define different things. So how are you outreaching, and to what populations?
Yeah, I think what we found was that at the beginning we had a broad focus to see what we thought might work. And that included adults, and we have a basics of investing module that really focuses on helping people figure out and ask questions about, and giving people a forum to ask questions about investments and retirement. And then as we looked at more of the academic literature, we found that that there's a little bit more impactful and long-term results that are being demonstrated if they're in earlier education. And those are very difficult to quantify, but the studies that are out there that seem to be showing some effect really show that, that a basic education matters a lot in terms of credit outcomes, in terms of long-term savings. A partner of ours at the CFA Society Pittsburgh, the president of that society, his name's Greg Philbeck. He's a professor at Penn State Erie Business School. He's actually just working on a study now that shows that high school students have even just things like better Roth IRA and awareness and increases investing and after a 6-month course they open more checking accounts. These are very basic items that lead to long-term better financial behaviors and are not rocket science, but it's a matter of improving awareness.
We started out looking at the financial literacy program and coming up with ideas that we thought we would develop certain modules that we thought would be of interest. And as it organically grew, we realized that there was a lot of on-demand need where we heard from the people that we were partnering with and the alliances that we were developing, what they wanted to learn and what they wanted to hear. So that's how some of the content has been developed just by what's needed out there. You asked a little bit about distribution. We are a membership organization, so we have fine networks in order to reach our own members, but because this is something that reaches the broader investing public, which is actually the second part of the mission of our society, we didn't have the distribution networks in place to reach the audiences directly, except to go into some free directories and local newspapers. But what we have found is that we partner with alliances that have audiences in place, and we get the word out through them because they're reaching out to the groups that we're helping. So it's been a really nice way for us to get the message out and to figure out how to reach the general investing public.